morning to everyone. So, I want to start the speech with a bit of audience participation.
Okay.
I'll be showing you a series of images, and I just want you to tell me the first thing that you think. I'll need one volunteer per slide. Do you have any volunteers? Happy to listen.
Chicken dressing.
Any volunteers? Nice. Okay, so now let's have a quick little detour. Can I get a show of hands for those who are familiar with this character? So quite a lot. If you're unfamiliar, this is Evan Hansen from Dear Evan Hansen, which is a musical. And in that musical, the titular character, Evan, struggles with social anxiety. And in one of the main songs in that musical, it's titled Waving Through a Window, he expresses his struggles. And he narrates that in order for him to not be the center of attention, in order for him to not make any mistakes, in order for him to not be humiliated, he just has to avoid doing the action altogether, not even trying. So this is the first verse of Waving Through a Window. If anyone wants to join me, feel free to do so. So the verse goes, learn to slam on the brick before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I leave with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no stepping up a few steps away, so I've got nothing to share. Hey, step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you learn, So that's the first verse of Waving Through a Window. So when I first saw this musical, I found it a bit ironic that a topic about social anxiety is being presented in a stage where it's set in front of thousands of people. And that made me wonder, what if the world is a stage? A stage where every interaction feels like a performance, where even the smallest mistakes expose your weakness and flaws to the scrutiny of an ever-watchful audience. So, let us define what is social anxiety. According to the U.S. National Institute of Mental Health, social anxiety disorder, also known as social phobia, is characterized by fear and avoidance of social or performance situations due to the fear of being constantly watched and judged by others. And to add to that definition, the fear of offending or causing an inconvenience to someone. Psychological and physical symptoms may manifest as sweating, trembling, rapid heart rate, lightheadedness, difficulty to maintain eye contact, and stuttering. The thing with social anxiety is the more you think about not trying to have those symptoms, the more they actually manifest. So it's kind of like a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, you might be thinking, isn't social anxiety just shyness or introversion? According to Ogden Physical Services, the difference is that shyness and introversion are personality traits. Shyness is a trait that makes you feel uneasy with strangers or unfamiliar situations. Introversion and, in extension, extroversion reflects your social preferences and how you recharge your social battery. On the other hand, social anxiety is a mental health condition that can be disruptive to your daily functions, as it may cause you to withdraw from social situations affecting various aspects of your life, including academic, relationships, and careers. You constantly overthink things that can go wrong, even before they happen, and just want to crawl back to your safe space. So a while ago, I showed you a bunch of images, and I'm sure most of us felt some form of nervousness during our speeches. And now I want you to recontextualize that nervousness into these situations. Now, what might appear to be what they entertain the most becomes daunting and intimidating tasks. For example, whenever I have to walk up to a cashier in a fast food restaurant or make a phone call, I always just take a step back and try to come up with all the possible conversations that I may have and all the possible responses that I may have just to prepare for it, and so I won't fumble over with my words. It might seem ridiculous for some people, and even those with social anxiety are aware that their fear is irrational or even out of proportion. Their brains are just wired to always expect that something bad or humiliating will happen. So now I will narrate some of the struggles I have with social anxiety. So this is me. I'm the eldest out of 3 siblings. I've always been described by my friends and family as timid and reserved. I was always uncomfortable with being the center of attention. I've led a comfortable life in terms of having my basic needs met, and admittedly that has made me a bit naive and sheltered. Somewhere along junior high, I started to feel like I'm lagging behind my peers in terms of my social skills. And for others, activities like small talk, reporting, or public speaking happen so seamlessly and effortlessly for them. It's almost like second nature. And I've always felt so impressed by speakers who can do a lengthy talk without needing a script. For example, priests during their sermons, our professors during our lectures, and even some of our classmates here who were able to go through their entire speeches without even needing a script. On the other hand, I struggled to maintain composure while trying to express my thoughts, especially in front of strangers, crowds, and authority figures. The perfectionism that came with being labeled as a gifted student and the egregious amount of time I spent in course didn't help either. There's a picture of me in 2019 in a piano recital. I remember one moment where I was just in the zone playing the piece, and then the next thing I know, I started becoming self-confident, conscious. I started to tense up, and then I got overwhelmed with thoughts, and then I just froze up. My mind went blank. I was able to recover, but that was like 5 to 7 seconds of silence for me. And then the generic age-old question that I often I often encounter during family gatherings. My girlfriend gonna laugh. And whenever I get this question, I just say no, smile, and then just say no and smile. Dating has always been one of the biggest hurdles for me because I always fall into the mentality that they would just find me uninteresting, unattractive, an anxious mess, or all of the above. So if you haven't put 2 and 2 together, I dread the thought of public speaking so much that I delayed enrolling in speech therapy until my graduating year. In fact, I barely had any sleep last night just trying to think about the speech. last question, kailan ka graduate? Recently, I've been asked this question several times by my friends and my family. This sem was supposed
Next
to be
sem.
my last sem in UP, but I held up from applying for required internship last mid-year until it was too late because internship meant that I had to go to a job interview. And most jobs look for applicants who are excellent at speaking, and we live in a world that favors those who are sociable and outgoing. Um, these are just a few examples of why Stein and Gorman refer to social anxiety as a disorder of lost opportunities. Individuals make major life choices to accommodate their illness. To conclude this speech, I wanted to give a brief synthesis on my journey for speech therapy. During my holiday break, I actually contemplated on the idea of not showing up on the day of my final speech. But then I figured, what better way of demonstrating that you can overcome social anxiety by delivering the speech and facing my fears. And standing here now, it's not as bad as my mind made it out to be. Partly because this class provided me with a safe space where I'm comfortable enough to reveal these vulnerabilities. A safe space where mistakes are seen not as weaknesses, but of points for personal growth. A safe space where we learn to open our eyes and be sensitive to the plights of others. And I hope you felt the same way too when you delivered or will deliver your final speech. So, if the world is a stage like the one I'm on right now, then it will be a stage not of judgment, but of understanding, empathy, and self-expression. In this stage, I have the power to shape how my story plays out, one small act at a time. Thank you for listening, and for the next presenters, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you make the most of this.